Howdy, Cowboy Gamer here, and today we are going to be discussing kind of finalizing your deck. You already have a deck idea, you're working on version 2, version 3, whatever. This is working for that final version to get it ready for a tournament or whatever you're working on. Always remember that the deck is never final. It is final for the tournament you are playing it in or the games that you are playing it in. You always need to be looking at the standard or extended, looking at what decks you might be facing, and then making slight variations to your deck to make your deck better against those decks that you think you're going to be playing against. Specifically, if I was playing in an extended, Night March is a major player in extended, and Vesperquin. Figure out what cards are really good against Vesperquin, and playing cards against that, as well as if I was going up, I thought my deck would go up against a lot of water decks. Seismitoad, pretty much stopping me from playing either tools or items of some type. Maybe I need to run less items in the deck, maybe just play one-ofs, and if they don't get their combo online, I still have a chance of playing a few, but if they get their locks on, I'm probably not going to be able to. So things like that are what you need to be thinking about. I have kind of finalized this list, and that's why I'm saying it's kind of version 3 at the moment, because I've done some more trades, so I've gotten my final version of another Mega Mewtwo. I've gotten another Octoly in the deck, and that's kind of where I want to sit at right now. However, things I'm thinking about with my deck changes is the main point of my deck is Mega Mewtwo and getting it online. That is why I'm running 3 basics and 3 of the evolution. I am still debating on turning it down to 2 of this instead of all 3. However, I think it is just too important with possibly losing one in the prize pool. And it's just, even at not getting super accelerated, just having 2 or 3 energies, this is still a really awesome combination. However, Lugia should be in standard format if you're watching this the date I'm putting it out. And Lugia is a pretty good version of this Mega Mewtwo, only a little weaker. It's only doing 20 per energy. So I am debating on putting possibly 1 in. The Mega Mewtwo is definitely the stronger of the 2. They both work with colorless, so I'm not worried about what energy type I'm working on. They're both EXs, so I'm not really worrying about that. It's just Lugia is not going to be able to one-shot Pokemon or two-shot as easily. That's kind of where my debate is. I'm still waiting on it. I'm going to play out some more matches. I'm going to try and get a Lugia and maybe put it in. But it's still a consideration. Magnezone. Running 2 Magnezones is still important to me, just because it is the engine that gets this deck going, or one of the engines, and it turns the Mega Mewtwo online. You need to have at least 2, just in case one gets prized, to be able to get it out. And that is why I'm only running 3 Magnemite. It kind of stinks if you hit the Magnemite as your only basic Pokemon and you put it down. So not super amazing, but it is something to think about. Remoraid and Octoly. This is another one of the great deck engines. Extra draw cards is wonderful. I've been noticing a lot of professional players, though, running it down to 1 and 1. It's great if it's not prized, and just trying to use more draw birches, sycamores, whatever draw power to make up for, and just adding 1 of each to add and make up for that. However, it's another consideration I'm considering, but yeah, I said consideration twice. But until I play out this a little bit more, I think I'm just going to run the 2 in case it prize. I kind of like to see and do some odds and probabilities on how often it will get put into the prize pool, and if so, what's my likelihood still of winning when that happens if I don't have it online. That's why it's important, it's a good draw thing, but if you have enough other draw cards and kind of tutor effects, tutor is a magic term, but it allows you to get whatever you're looking for, essentially, or the key cards. So it is good. However, the other thing that I'm concerned with this deck is drawing out. This deck likes to go through cards fast. It likes to draw its sycamores. And of a couple of games I've been working on with different versions of this deck list, I have lost because I drew out of cards. That is my final consideration. That is why I'm not running 4 sycamores like I used to. I'm only running 2, because Birch at least puts cards back in so you don't deck out as quickly. Average is usually 5 decimal whatever cards on a Birch. That is perfectly acceptable to get 5 cards compared to 7 by not losing them into your discard pile. The only reason discard is still a possibility is for Fishermen to get them the energy out and put them pretty much get them all on the Mewtwo quickly. Again, not horrible. Evo Soda has been immensely powerful in this deck lately. Getting out, turning a Magnemite into a Magneton, or a Magneton into a Magnezone, the Remoraid into Octoly, the Mewtwo into the Mega Mewtwo, if I have the Spirit Link or not, has been very awesome and very efficient lately. However, it's still slow if it's going to build up the Magnezone. That's why it is still only a 2 of. I'm putting the rare candy in to try and get that speed. However, it is only for 1 Pokemon chain of evolution. So currently, I am still on the fence, but really leaning towards going down to 1 rare candy and kind of just doing a Skyla to get out rare candy in the event that I have the Magnezone and the Magnemite in my hand, or the Magnemite down and get the Magnezone to evolve it immediately. Again, this is all things I'm toying with, but these are all of the thoughts you have to go through. The one of the Brigitte of the Fishermen are pretty good with the VS Seeker if they're not prized. It makes it a few more, especially since VS Seeker is not support. You can get any of these out. Really useful with Lysander lately. Really good with Sycamore if I have a bunch of energies. And I don't have the Magazone, but I think I might be getting it set up shortly. Professor's Letter, still super useful. Just getting 2 energies. It's a pretty powerful card. It thins out your deck of energies, putting them in your hand. If you have the Magnezone play, they're pretty much going on to 2 Pokemon. Super great still. Bridget, still good. It can get the basic Mewtwo if you don't have it, if you have the others. However, if not, it can easily get the Magnemite and the Remoraid's if you're sitting on a hand of just evolved forms of all these cards. It's not bad. It's really just if you get anything and you don't hit the Mewtwo quickly, making sure you find that Mewtwo EX and getting it into play. This is also a card I am debating on pulling out. So a Rare Candy and a Brigitte are possible. With the thought process of probably going for more draw, another Birch probably, or throwing in the Lugia EX. Either or. Floatstone, still super good with either Octoly or Magnezone to get them out. They aren't horrible for retreat, but 2 and 3 is just a lot more than you want. Not in the idea that you can't just Magnezone, get 2 energies in, retreat it, Fisherman out the rest of those energies and put them all onto a Mewtwo really quick. But still something that people do try to throw or Lysander, a bad Pokemon, into play that they don't think is kind of the idea behind your deck to stall you a little bit. However, that's just what I'm doing to counter. Most of the times lately, though, it has kind of hurt a little bit because I already am running the Mewtwo Spirit Link, which usually goes on the Mewtwo, but every once in a while I built up a really good Mega Mewtwo, and then I've got another Mewtwo going, but I don't have the Mega in hand, so I haven't evolved it, and they throw pull the Mewtwo out into play, and I'm just like, okay, 2 energies just to retreat this, not as great, and I can't put the Float Stone on. Sad, but it's the case. For that reason, I may change one of these Float Stones to a switch, just allowing me to switch out my Pokemon. Yes, it is only for the turn, so it has to kind of sit in my hand a little bit, or if I do get rid of it, I can get it back out of my hand if I need to, or it becomes a dead card. So these are kind of the thoughts I'm running with. Maybe even just a single Float Stone, but if you get an Octoly out into play and they're just sitting and stalling and not attacking it, it bites. Magnezone, on the other hand, isn't as bad because it still is very easily pumped up to having 3 energies on it. And yes, you're discarding 1 per turn, but you're hitting 100 every time for a stage 2 for 3 energies. That's still very cost efficient in energy-wise, and with the amount of draw, usually you can always be putting an energy on. This is also in there, and not just as the good way of pushing energies onto my Mega Mewtwo, the good engine to do it. However, it still is not an EX, and it's still a good stage 2 with electric energy. So, this can still hit pretty hard, especially when they have cards that say EXs can't do damage, or you can't do something with your EXs to their Pokemon. That is why Magnezone is still useful. Again, still toying with, if I run out one of these cards, getting a town map. Town map is super important in decks that you have one-ofs. So if you have a one-of in your deck and it gets prized, you want to be able to find it. It's also just a good item card that you can usually play in a turn, so you play a few item cards, thins out your hand a little more, and lets your Octoly draw you some more. I still think the 15 energy is pretty good, just because of how much you want to put on a Mega Mewtwo. Usually you try to run 2 Mega Mewtwo's at about 5 to 6 energies each, and the rest go on to 1 Magnezone, and that's pretty much where all your energy goes. When 1 Mega Mewtwo dies, you get the Fisherman to get it back, but that's kind of, if you built one and you're working on another, you kind of have to play, do I want to go all in on 1 Mega Mewtwo? Because in this deck, as much as it relies on 1 Pokemon to do a lot of the damage, it has no healing. That is why the other card is still Max Potion. If I run out, get rid of the Bridget and 1 Rare Candy, I will totally be putting in a Max Potion, and I will be totally putting in the town map. Ultra Ball is still one card as well that I'm not super amazed on lately. It just, of all the games I've been playing, and I've been playing a lot with this deck, and I've been winning a lot. I have a positive win ratio. It just hasn't been working. With Bridget, I've been getting all my basics, and then usually I just Evo Soda, or I draw through so many cards, I usually have the other Pokemon. So this is the final thing. I know a lot of people would say don't. It's great to get rid of some energies and Fisherman later, and some cards you don't need, just to make sure you hit, if you have an Octoly in hand, getting a Remoraid down, or if you have a Magnezone, a Rare Candy, making sure you get the Magnemite. It does work really well. However, almost all the time, Evo Soda has just been better, especially when you have to have a basic in play to start your deck. Unless they kill it really fast, you're going to still have a basic. So another consideration is running 3 Evo Sodas and 3 Ultra Balls, so just swapping out. I don't exactly know what the great number is, but more deck testing will figure that out. So hopefully you didn't mind this version 3 of this Electric Mewtwo, or ElectricTwo, as I'm starting to call it. If you have thoughts on the deck and you think I'm missing something, maybe why am I not running a Steven instead of a Skyla, that is because Steven gets Civic cards, Skylar gets trainers. And as much as I run a lot of supporters, a lot of times I just need that Ultra Ball, the Professor's Letter, Rare Candy, or Evo Soda. So that's why I don't need the extra energy. And to be honest, I have 15, which is a lot more than some decks have usually, as well as the ways that I can get energy into my hand quickly and easily to turn on these engines and get the cards working. So those are all my thoughts currently, but let me know what you think, and I will hopefully see you in some games later.